Today we uncover the shocking truth about UK restaurant chains, or what's left of them anyway. Because millions of Britons didn't suddenly get pickier about where they eat, they worked out what these chains were doing and they stopped showing up. Some of this is organised boycott, hashtags, petitions, protests, but most of it is something quieter, and for the chains, much worse. A silent boycott. Millions of Britons, one by one, decided they were done. No announcement, no goodbye, they simply stopped going. One chain is charging £15 for a quarter chicken that costs them £2.50 to make. That's a 500% markup. Another chain's DNA testing revealed 19 out of 20 samples contained no detectable tuna whatsoever. Instead, chicken, pork, and cattle. Display counters aren't heated deliberately. Hot food carries 20% VAT. Cold food doesn't. Your sausage roll is stone cold by design. A tax dodge. Private equity firms bought beloved British brands, loaded them with debt, gutted quality, extracted maximum profit, then walked away as restaurants collapsed. 12 chains. Names you grew up with. Names you trusted. And right now they're hemorrhaging customers in numbers that have executives in absolute panic. One chain closing 68 restaurants in one go. Another's shares down 40% in a year. A third losing £11 billion in market value. A fourth collapsing from 600 locations to 79. These companies built their empires on you never asking questions. Let's keep asking them. But before we get into which chains made the list, I need you to do something. Click the hype button. Not just like hype, because every time you hype this video, it pushes it to more people. More people who need to know what these chains are actually serving. More people who can vote with their wallets. More people who can force these corporations to care about quality again. Because when enough people know the truth, these chains can't hide anymore. They can't keep serving frozen rubbish at restaurant prices and expect you to stay quiet. So, hype this video. Share it. Make sure every Briton who's been ripped off by these chains sees this. And let's get into it. Number 12. Nando's. The peri-peri chicken chain everyone used to love. That quarter chicken meal you're paying £15 for costs them £2.50 to make. Chicken, rice, coleslaw. You're being charged 500% markup, even accounting for rent, staff, and overheads. The profit margin is enormous. And while you're queuing to order, collecting your own cutlery, getting your own drinks, clearing your own table, doing all the work staff should do, they charge you full restaurant prices. Then ask for a tip. For what? But it gets worse. Nando's chicken suppliers are polluting British rivers. The River Wye, voted Britain's favourite river, on the brink of collapse. Chris Packham, Joanna Lumley, Hugh Fearnley-Whittingstall, all demanding Nando's clean up their act. In February 2026, Nando's ditched their animal welfare pledge, switched to fast-growing chickens with higher suffering rates and increased mortality. And here's what they don't advertise. Workers say portions shrinking, quality dropping, prices rising. One customer put it perfectly. If the chicken shrinks anymore, we may as well call it peri-peri sparrow. Another said, I went to Nando's once because of friends. Once and never been back. Dry chicken. And ordering your own food at the till. It's not a restaurant. While Nando's bleeds customers, independent chicken shops are thriving. Because Britons haven't stopped eating chicken, they've just stopped paying £15 for self-service and corporate secrecy. Number 11. Subway. The fake fresh fiasco. Recently, the New York Times commissioned DNA testing on 60 Subway tuna sandwiches from 3 locations. The result shocked the industry. No amplifiable tuna DNA was present in the sample. The UCLA Barber Lab tested 20 samples from 20 locations. 19 of 20 samples had no detectable tuna DNA whatsoever. All 20 samples contained chicken DNA, 11 samples contained pork DNA, 7 samples contained cattle DNA. Your 100% tuna sandwich is mystery meat. Then there's the bread. The Irish Supreme Court ruled Subway bread isn't legally bread due to 10% sugar content, 5 times the Irish legal limit of 2% sugar. The court ruled Subway bread qualifies as confectionery or fancy baked good, not bread. Your sandwich is made with cake. But the truly disturbing evidence comes from employees themselves. Reddit posts from workers claim managers changed date stickers on food past its use by date. One employee posted video alleging their boss makes them change the day dots, captioning it, "Food is nasty and spoiled." Multiple employees have made similar claims online, stating, "I worked at a Subway who did that exact thing. Just pick away the moldy bits. If you throw any food away, it costs this store a lot of money." According to employee testimony online, managers would chop the bad parts off tomatoes and use the rest. Workers allege food would last weeks beyond expiration by repeatedly changing date labels. One worker claimed chicken teriyaki should be thrown out by the 5th day, but employees just changed the date to avoid throwing it out, meaning 5-day chicken could be out as long as 9 days. Another alleged tuna was always several days older than expiration, with staff covering the old label with a new one. At one store, according to worker reports, old tuna just got mixed in with new tuna. When employees systematically make these claims about changing expiration dates, DNA tests can't find tuna in your tuna sandwich, and Supreme Court's rule your bread is legally cake, you're not eating fresh. Number 10. KFC. The chicken restaurant that ran out of chicken. In 2018, DHL took over as KFC's new logistics partner, operating from one warehouse in Rugby versus the previous supplier's 6 warehouses across the UK. Within 4 days, 750 of 900 UK stores closed. Over 80% of locations had no chicken. The new Rugby depot wasn't properly registered with local authorities to store chilled food when operations began. Chicken shipments spoiled in the depot as drivers waited hours for entry. KFC published the famous FCK apology ad showing an empty bucket with rearranged letters. It went viral, it won awards, everyone praised KFC's crisis management. But here's what the viral ad didn't mention. They chose the cheapest logistics bid from a supplier with no fresh food experience, cut off the previous supplier completely overnight with no transition period, and created a disaster through pure cost cutting. But the real issue is what happens inside individual KFC locations. At the Leytonstone KFC in East London, environmental health officers discovered a rat infestation throughout the premises after a customer found droppings inside a cheeseburger wrapper while eating. The restaurant was closed for 10 days. Customers were forced to leave immediately. At court, the franchisee was fined £22,000 plus costs. And here's what KFC doesn't advertise. Many locations now serve chicken that's religiously slaughtered meat. No public announcement, no customer choice, no labels on the menu. You're only finding out now. Workers on forums say nobody wears gloves, they don't wash their dishes, they just spray and leave all the grease on. When your chicken restaurant can't get chicken for a week because they went with the cheapest bid, and locations operate with rat droppings in the food prep areas, you're not getting finger-licking good. You're getting whatever survives cost-cutting. Number 9. Pizza Express. The private equity destruction. In 2014, Pizza Express was a beloved British brand. Then it was bought by a Chinese private equity firm. They loaded it with debt, gutted quality, cut costs everywhere, and extracted maximum profit. That's what private equity does. Buy British brands, bleed them dry, walk away rich. A margherita pizza cost £7.95 in 2014. Today, the same pizza costs £13.40. That's a 68% price increase. But the pizza hasn't gotten bigger or better. In fact, it's gotten smaller. The bases are thinner, the toppings are sparser, the cheese coverage is less generous. You're paying 68% more for a smaller, lower quality pizza. Then there's the dough ball scandal. Pizza Express dough balls used to be made fresh in-house. They were a signature item, something customers loved, but in 2019, Pizza Express switched to frozen, pre-made dough balls to cut costs. Customers noticed immediately. The texture changed, the flavor changed, they went from fresh and fluffy to dense and bland. But the price didn't drop. In fact, it increased. Dough balls that cost £5.25 in 2019 now cost £6.95. You're paying more for frozen dough balls than you used to pay for fresh ones. One long-time customer said Pizza Express used to be special. Now it's overpriced mediocrity. That's what happens when private equity gets involved. Quality has collapsed. Prices have skyrocketed. That's the Pizza Express story in 6 words. Number 8. TGI Fridays. The party that's over. In 2024, TGI Fridays entered administration, 35 restaurants shut, over 1,000 jobs lost. The chain collapsed from 600 locations to 79. Private equity bought TGI Fridays, squeezed every penny, then let it collapse. The owners walked away wealthy. You're left with frozen food at restaurant prices. TGI Fridays charges restaurant prices for food that tastes like it came from a supermarket freezer aisle. A burger costs £14.95. Chicken strips cost £12.95. A steak costs £24.95. But here's what you're getting. The burgers are frozen patties. The chicken strips are pre-breaded and frozen. The steaks are cheap cuts that have been tenderized and seasoned to hide the poor quality. Everything tastes reheated because everything is reheated. Then there's the portion size versus price issue. TGI Fridays portions look substantial on the menu, but when they arrive, they're disappointing. The burgers are small, the steaks are thin, the sides are minimal. You're paying £25 for a steak that's smaller and lower quality than what you'd get at a pub for $15. But what makes TGI Fridays number 8 is the atmosphere of manufactured fun that can't hide the poor value. The restaurants are loud, the decor is garish, and the staff are forced to sing and perform in ways that feel uncomfortable for everyone involved. You're paying premium prices for frozen food in an environment that's trying desperately to distract you from noticing how bad the value is. One customer said, "Spent £80 for a family meal that tasted like frozen food from Iceland." The singing waiters couldn't distract from how ripped off we felt. Number 7. Greggs. The Great British Bakery Betrayal. Greggs, the British bakery everyone trusts. Freshly baked throughout the day, they promise. Here's what actually happens. Workers on forums say it arrives frozen in tubes. Pink sludge that looks like cat food before we bake it. The steak bake is 12% beef. The rest is filler. The sausage roll is 20% pork. The rest, anyone's guess. Customers started measuring. Sausage rolls used to be 120 grams, now they're 90 grams. A third smaller. Same price, higher actually. But here's the real scandal. Those display counters aren't heated. Heated food carries 20% VAT. Cold food doesn't. Greggs keeps everything cold to dodge tax. That's why your sausage roll is always stone cold. Not a mistake, a business model. Former manager confirmed it's not actually under a hot counter, so when it comes out the oven, it's going to get cold. You have to get there at the right time. Translation, we won't keep it warm because that costs us 20% VAT. Workers confirm arrives in tubs, we just scoop and spread. Nothing fresh, just frozen rubbish reheated in batches. One customer reported a disturbing incident. Asked for a bacon roll, the guy finished serving the person in front, took their money, rummaged around with the change, and then went straight into picking up the bacon with his dirty hands. Greggs' stock crashed 40% in 2025. Customers walking away in droves. While Greggs bleeds customers, independent British bakeries are booming, real baking, real ingredients, actually hot, because Britons haven't stopped loving bakeries, they've just stopped accepting cold, corporate lies wrapped in puff pastry. Number 6. McDonald's UK. The shrinkflation and harassment scandal. Quality has collapsed. Prices have skyrocketed. That's the McDonald's story in 6 words. A Big Mac meal cost £1.99 in the 90s. Adjusted for inflation, £4 today. They're charging £8. That's not inflation, that's corporate greed. Workers on forums say we're serving the same food with less staff, less time, less care. Management cut everything except prices. And here's the scandal UK media won't talk about enough. 700 McDonald's UK workers filed legal action for sexual harassment. 29 workers dismissed, 400 complaints in 5 months. The Equality and Human Rights Commission had to step in with a warning in March 2025. While McDonald's executives were worried about profits, workers were filing 2 complaints per week that nobody acted on. But customers are walking away for a simpler reason. Why pay £8 for a McDonald's meal when you could get a proper burger at a local pub for 10? One American put it perfectly. Why would I eat there when a meal costs as much as if I just got a burger from an actual restaurant? Same question applies here. £8 for fast food that leaves you feeling sluggish and regretful, or £10 for a real burger made by someone who actually cares. McDonald's forgot what they were supposed to be: cheap and fast. Now they're expensive and slow. While McDonald's bleeds customers, local burger joints are packed. Because Britons haven't stopped eating burgers, they've just stopped paying corporate prices for declining quality. Number 5. Costa, the coffee chain that stopped caring. Costa built its reputation on decent coffee at reasonable prices. Walk in, order a latte, sit down, enjoy. For years, it worked, but something's changed dramatically in recent years. Customer service has collapsed. Complaints are ignored, hygiene issues are widespread. Multiple customers report flies on cakes, dirty teapots, unclean surfaces. When confronted, staff respond they get like that, not apologetic, not concerned, not we'll fix that immediately, just they get like that, as if flies on cakes is normal, as if dirty teapots are expected. The indifference is staggering. Gift card problems are rampant. Customers report buying gift cards as presents only to find they don't work when trying to use them. The balance doesn't load, the card isn't recognized, customer service doesn't respond, emails go unanswered, phone calls lead nowhere. You're left with a worthless piece of plastic and no recourse. Rude staff is a consistent complaint across locations. The friendly barista who knew your order, who smiled, who made small talk, is gone, replaced by someone who can't be bothered to look up from their phone, someone who treats your order like an interruption, someone who makes you feel like you're inconveniencing them by being a customer. One customer wrote, "I've stopped going to Costa because every single time the staff are miserable and rude." Another said, "Asked for my coffee to be remade because it was cold." The barista rolled her eyes and sighed like I'd asked her to climb a mountain. And the prices keep rising. A large latte that cost £2.50 5 years ago now costs over £4. In some locations, £4.50. That's an 80% price increase for worse service, dirtier premises, and staff who don't care. You're paying nearly double for a worse experience. While Costa bleeds customers, independent coffee shops are thriving. The local cafe where the owner knows your name, where the coffee's made with care, where the tables are clean and the staff are friendly. Similar prices, infinitely better experience. Because Britons haven't stopped drinking coffee, they've just stopped paying premium prices for corporate indifference. Number 4. Starbucks, the union-busting boycott. In November 2025, Starbucks workers launched the biggest strikes in the company's history. Hundreds of stores affected. Thousands of workers walking out. The reason, over 500 labor law violations, the worst in modern history. The National Labor Relations Board in the US documented systematic union busting, illegal firings, intimidation, surveillance, CEO compensation £96 million versus workers earning less than £15,000 per year. That's a 6,666 to 1 ratio. The person at the top earns in one day what workers earn in an entire year. Let that sink in. 1 day of CEO pay equals 1 year of worker pay. The company lost £11 billion in market value as boycotts gained momentum. September 2025, hundreds of locations closing. 900 layoffs announced. But here's what makes Starbucks number 4. The mobile app prioritizes mobile orders over walk-in customers. You can be standing at the counter, ready to order, money in hand, and staff will ignore you to fulfill app orders. You're treated like you don't exist because you're not using their app. You watch staff make drink after drink for people who aren't even in the store while you stand there waiting to be acknowledged. The message is clear. Download our app and give us your data or you don't matter. Then there's the service charge issue at some locations. Automatic 12.5% added to bills. Presented as optional but pre-ticked, so most customers pay without questioning. And that charge doesn't all go to staff. Starbucks takes a percentage for administration. You're tipping corporate, not your barista. The person who made your drink sees a fraction of that service charge, while Starbucks corporate pockets the rest. Former employees revealed that baguettes are bought from a factory in France and rebaked in stores. Loaf tanning salons, as critics call them, soups arrive in plastic bags from factories and are reheated in water baths, often reheated 3 to 4 times against safety protocol to reduce waste. Since the pandemic, sandwiches now carry used-by dates and are carried over to the next day, contradicting the entire freshly made premise. While Starbucks bleeds customers, independent coffee shops with actual baristas who care are packed. Coffee roasted locally, food made fresh, staff paid fairly, no union busting, no corporate greed. Because Britons haven't stopped drinking coffee, they've just stopped funding union busting and corporate exploitation. Number 3. Frankie and Benny's. The fake Italian-American fantasy. Frankie and Benny's markets itself with Big Apple, Little Italy mythology. The branding suggests New York heritage, Italian-American tradition, authentic recipes passed down through generations, except it was founded in Leicester in 1995 by a restaurant group. There's no New York connection, no Italian heritage, no American authenticity. Just a British chain pretending to be something it's not, selling nostalgia for a place it never was. And the food reflects that dishonesty. A burger that cost £9.95 now costs £13.95. A pasta dish that was £10.50 is now £14.95. But here's what you're actually getting for those prices. Frozen burger patties that taste like they came from Iceland. No char. No flavour. Just grey meat that's been defrosted and heated, pasta that's overcooked, and swimming in sauce from a jar. You can taste the tinned tomatoes, the jarred basil, the lack of care. Garlic bread that's clearly been microwaved, soggy in the middle, hard at the edges. The entire menu tastes like reheated frozen food because that's essentially what it is. Former employees have confirmed it. The lasagna comes frozen. Heat it, serve it. The chicken comes pre-cooked. Heat it, serve it. The desserts come frozen, defrost them. Serve them. You're not eating restaurant food, you're eating supermarket-ready meals at restaurant prices. Then there's the atmosphere issue. Frankie and Benny's restaurants feel tired and dated. The decor hasn't been updated in years. The same booths, the same posters, the same attempted Americana that looked tired in 2000 and looked ancient now. The menus are sticky, not just a bit sticky, properly sticky, like they haven't been cleaned in months. The booths are worn, rips in the seats, stains that won't come out. You're paying £15 for a burger in an environment that feels like a 90s theme restaurant that never got renovated, which is exactly what it is. One customer said, "Took my family for dinner, spent £65 and everyone agreed we'd have been better off at McDonald's." That's devastating. When McDonald's, which we've already established is overpriced and declining, is the better option, your restaurant has failed. When people would rather have a £8 Big Mac meal than your £15 burger, you've lost. Another customer wrote, "Frankie and Benny's problem isn't just greed, it's desperation. They've raised prices repeatedly while the quality has collapsed." While Frankie and Benny's loses customers, actual Italian restaurants run by people who know Italian food are thriving. Fresh pasta made daily, real Italian recipes, honest prices, authentic atmosphere. Because Britons haven't stopped eating Italian food, they've just stopped paying for fake nostalgia and frozen rubbish. Number 2. Prezzo. The high street Italian fatigue. Prezzo has been through endless rebrands. It used to be just Prezzo, then it became Prezzo Cucina Italiana, then back to Prezzo. Now it's Prezzo Italian, as if adding Italian to the name will convince anyone it's authentic. The constant rebranding is a red flag. Companies that are doing well don't constantly reinvent themselves, they stick with what works. Prezzo keeps changing because nothing's working. In 2023, 46 restaurants closed, 810 jobs at risk. The chain keeps trying to rebrand its way out of declining quality. It never works. Because you can't rebrand your way out of serving bad food. A spaghetti carbonara that cost £8.95 now costs £13.50. That's a 51% increase. But the portion has shrunk and the quality has collapsed. The pasta is overcooked, mushy, the sauce is thin and watery. It separates on the plate, the bacon is sparse. You're counting the pieces, you're getting less food of worse quality for significantly more money. Then there's the authenticity issue. Prezzo markets itself as authentic Italian dining. The menu's in Italian, the decor attempts Italian trattoria, the staff say buongiorno, but the food tastes nothing like actual Italian cuisine. It's British interpretations of Italian dishes made with the cheapest possible ingredients and served at prices that would make an Italian chef weep. Go to Italy and order spaghetti carbonara. It's creamy, rich, made with guanciale and pecorino and egg yolk. It's simple, but perfect. Order it at Prezzo and you get watery sauce, bacon bits and overcooked pasta. It's not Italian food. It's British food with Italian names. Multiple former employees have confirmed that much of Prezzo's menu is pre-prepared, frozen and reheated to order. The lasagna comes frozen, pop it in the oven, heat it through, serve it. The tiramisu comes frozen. Defrost it, serve it. Even some of the pasta sauces are pre-made and reheated. You're not getting fresh Italian cooking. You're paying £13 for frozen food that's been microwaved, a product labelled restaurant quality but delivered at supermarket-ready meal quality. 41% of customers find it acceptable. Think about that. Acceptable, not good, not great, not worth the money. Acceptable, that's not a win. That's a sign people have given up expecting quality. They've lowered their standards so far that acceptable is now the bar. While Prezzo closes locations and cycles through rebrand after rebrand, independent Italian restaurants run by actual Italians are packed. Fresh pasta made that morning. Sauces made from scratch. Real Italian recipes from real Italian grandmothers. Honest prices that reflect the quality. Because Britons haven't stopped eating Italian food. They've just stopped paying restaurant prices for frozen supermarket meals with Italian names slapped on them. Number 1. Wetherspoons. Only kidding. Wetherspoons doesn't belong on this list. That's not us saying it. That's what customers commenting on social media are saying. The food isn't gourmet, but it's perfectly good for the prices charged. And that's why they're often still packed. Wetherspoons never pretended to be fine dining. They're honest about what they are. Cheap pub food, no frills. We all know Wetherspoons is pre-made. Everyone knows. That's the point. They're honest. In a country where Nando's charging £15 for self-service and calling it a restaurant experience, Wetherspoons' honesty is refreshing. And right now in 2026, with corporate greed destroying British restaurants, that honesty might make them the most trustworthy chain in Britain. So what should you do instead? Support independent restaurants. Find local places where the owner is in the kitchen, where the food is made fresh, where the prices reflect actual value rather than corporate profit targets and private equity dividends. The free house pubs in villages doing belly filling, great quality food with fairly priced real ales. Why would you ever wish to go to a corporate pig trough when you could go there? Or cook at home? Comments on social media say it all. I cook all my meals myself, one wrote. They're hot and cooked properly. I never eat out. For the £15 Nando's charges for a quarter chicken, you could buy a whole chicken and make your own peri-peri sauce. Nando's sauce is in every supermarket. £3. A whole chicken is £5. Rice is pennies. Feed your whole family for less than one Nando's quarter chicken. For the £14 Pizza Express charges for one pizza, you could make 4 pizza dough. Takes 10 minutes to make and costs pennies. A tin of tomatoes, 50p. Mozzarella, £2. You could make 4 massive pizzas for less than one Pizza Express margherita. Better ingredients. Actually, hot, not lukewarm. No 12.5% service charge. No private equity taking a cut. For the £8 Subway charges for a footlong that's only 11 inches, you could make proper sandwiches for a week. Proper fillings. Actual tuna, you'd save money and eat better. The chains counted on you not noticing. Counted on you to keep showing up, keep paying, keep accepting declining quality and rising prices. You stopped, and they're panicking. Pizza Hut entering administration, Greg's shares crashing, TGI Fridays collapsing, Starbucks losing billions. They're hemorrhaging customers because you worked out what they were doing. Before you go, hype this video one more time. Click that hype button because every hype pushes this to more people who need to know, more people who can vote with their wallets. More people who can force these corporations to care about quality again, or watch them collapse. Share it with anyone still defending these corporate pig troughs. Anyone who says, "But I like Nando's" or Pizza Express is good value. Show them the numbers. Show them what they're actually paying for, and leave a comment telling me which food or restaurant we should cover next. Because I'm making more videos like this to expose what's really happening to British food. Fish fingers. Restaurant chains. What's next? Tell me in the comments. Until next time, stay informed, stay angry, and protect your plate.